Hello, and welcome to Fallawsophy. I'm your host, Jennifer Fallaw-Doering, and my philosophy is to believe in infinite possibilities. Sometimes I just come here to talk. That's the purpose of the Fallawsophy show. Just come here and talk and be unapologetically exactly who I am. And that's what I'm doing today. Today, sometimes I get thoughts and I write them down. And that's what happened today. Let me know in the chat if everyone can hear me before I begin. I think that you probably can. So I was writing some things down today. I get inspired. And yep, everything's good. All right. So I'm going to be reading a lot of what I wrote down, so I didn't forget it. Sometimes in life, me personally, I've struggled with, all I ever really wanted to be is love. I've only wanted to just love people and give as much as I can. And often, my joy is tinged by pain. And my triumphs are against the odds. And, someone asked me once, what do you really know how to do well? And I told them, I really thought about it. I said, I just really know how to love. But, this world that we live in forces us to hold back, to not give as much because, I may be taken advantage of. And this is this true essence of a soul living in a dimension where evil exists. It's what the soul cries out is of why can't I just be me and love people and do these good things without having to fight off the demons, and that is the true essence of what everybody deals with here. I'm not alone in that. And somewhere along the way, with experience, we harden. And we choose not to give so much. And not to be loved. And to look at others as the enemy. And we think we win. We think we're winning when we do that. But then as you grow, some people realize with wisdom that we have given in to the dark side or the backlash or the negativity by hardening. So it's something you learn that somewhere along the way, I'm just going to do it anyway. I'm just going to do it anyway. And we're coming up to a time when that happens to a lot of people. Maybe we all came here to fight a war. Everybody always wonders, why did we come here? What's the purpose of life? Why are we even here? And some of you may say, well, I haven't really done anything. I just, had some relationships, raised a family, had friends. But that's the fight, is to be here and to be love and to experience those things. And the more and more people that we have here that are loving each other, whether it's just in your circle, the more we win. And so right now, excuse me, right now, Evil wants us to see each other as enemies. He wants us to divide us on our beliefs and on, uh, even with the current situation for the last year and a half or so, 6 feet apart and separated from each other. And oh, you're a germ, and I got to stay away from people. I have to hide in my home. Why would they want that? What we need to do in this time and how we win this war is to rise above all that and to see through all that. And many, many, many people are doing that now. But we need to take a deeper look and see a bit further. We're taking a look at the surface, what's been going on behind the scenes, but we're not really looking at why it's going on behind the scenes. It's time to transcend above what we as souls have been accustomed to. In today's climate, we struggle with truth and falsehoods, with real, what's not real, with opinions and judgments. And there's a place within us that longs for peace and security that we know awaits us and is home. It is our true essence. And everything that we encounter and that we experience that goes against our true essence hurts. That's why pain and anger and all those things hurt. Because inside, it's foreign to you. And I think forever, for whatever reason in this dimension and in this place that we have come to incarnate, we are always fighting this war. Whether we've realized it or not, it has just escalated to a point where we're breaking out of the illusion. But we've been taught, it's not like we've all chosen to be quiet or compliant or all these things. We've been taught to do that since the moment we arrived. When we get here and we're love. We're peaceful and we are pure and innocent. And although sometimes with good intentions, we are taught fear from the very beginning. We are taught what to do and what not to do. We're taught to look to others for our answers and not within. We are taught that to seek acceptance. And only with that acceptance can we be loved or be at peace if you have the acceptance. And so you have a society of people seeking acceptance and who learn to conform. We've been conditioned to believe that society dictates what is acceptable. And in doing so, we have assigned power over our lives and our happiness to others every step of the way. I mean, think about it. In school, I remember when I was a kid, there was this fad where everybody wore these plastic gummy-like shoes. And it was hot, and it was summer, and they just gave me the worst blisters on my feet, and they hurt, and they were terrible, and I hated them. But I wore them because everybody was wearing them. And if I didn't wear them, and I wore the other shoes, well, that was just unacceptable. I wouldn't fit in. And I wouldn't be accepted, and I wouldn't be loved. We do that in many, many different ways in every day of our lives. And then you get governments and rules involved, and they say if you do not comply, if you do not follow the rules, you'll be punished. Jellies, that's what they were. Yeah, that's what they were. Um, there are those that resist change because they've grown accustomed to the peace they find in the compliance. And that's what we've been taught. That if you're wrong, there are serious consequences. We are taught from the very beginning not to be wrong. We are graded on it. And so when if we're wrong, we're probably going to fail a test in some way, or we're going to lose something. Admitting that a thought process or belief or ideology is or was, quote, wrong would be admitting to failure. And people associate that with being bad, with being stupid, foolish, or unacceptable. This is why they resist change or opening their eyes until such time as they become so uncomfortable or so affected in such a way that they're forced out of their comfort zones and rebel against the machine. And that's where we are. And you're all a bunch of rebels. Everybody's listening to me. In today's world, this is happening to many, and it's about to happen. So there's a lot of us, there's a lot of people, about a certain topic that has to do with taking something for your health. It has the country once again divided, just like they want. I mean, just like they want us divided. They want us enemies. And when those who have seen what they don't want us to see try to tell their loved ones, we are hit with backlash, and it's very hard. It's emotional because, some of us go way overboard with it, but some of us have seen more than others. You can't force anything. And what I want to talk to you about today is where we're going. And that's kind of my job to talk about the spiritual sides of things. But basically how to cope with this. As we move forward, it's going to feel like chaos. And most will resist and fight to keep their comfort zone. That's why they call others names. That's why they don't want to, because they've been so conditioned not to fail, not to be wrong. They'll fight you tooth and nail. And some people are on the side that they absolutely believe that you should get it. That they think they're saving you by getting it. You see how they've messed with everybody's heads? And we're just seeing this now because it's extreme circumstances. But they've been doing it forever. So basically, there's two basic emotions. Two basic motivations in this life. It's love or fear. And when I've talked to Jesus in meditations, he does not refer to it as evil. It's always fear. It's always the illusion. It's always lies. He always refers to fear as an illusion and So we've got love and we've got fear. And many times it's because you love that you fear. And they use that against you. It's because you love your family that you have fears. You're afraid of being wrong. You're afraid of losing them. You're afraid of anything happening to them. And that forces you to give in to fear. And it's the prime tool that they use against us. If you didn't love anybody and you didn't care about anything, you'd be fearless. You would. But it is that love for others and at a basic place for yourself that causes us to hold back, causes us to react in a certain way, even if it's irrational. And this is the primary tool used against us. And it has been for thousands of years to control the masses. It was the very first thing, fear. Fear places limitations or conditions on everything, with the prime objective of placing limitations on God. They know that we are all brothers and sisters, and together we are God. And that's what they're fighting. It's not like, oh, well, we don't like these humans, they're in our way. Let's, do everything to them so that they can work for us and blah, blah, blah. They are trying to hurt God through us. And it's time that we all come to the realization of this. Their war is not with you. It is with God. And everything that is God, fear tells you that in this dimension, we have beginnings and ends. They're all really beginnings. There is no end. And if we were in union the way we're supposed to be, even when someone passed away, we'd know that they're just going home. And we kind of know that. We don't really accept that. Resisting fear is rejecting evil in all its forms. We can't, we haven't figured that out yet as a people. We really haven't figured that out. I'm not telling you I don't have fear over here, because I've got fears all over. I love everybody. I mean, I have so many things to lose, and I struggle with it too. That's why I know this. I'm about as human as they come over here. But this is the age that we're entering. I never really got into the ascension and the fifth, and the fifth dimension and the third dimension and all that stuff. It started to make some sense to me. Okay, a little bit. Really haven't looked into it too much, but we are definitely evolving through all of this strife. And think about it. If we didn't have this blanket, this mind-numbing blanket of fear and low vibrational energy holding us back, what challenges would we really have? Because if everybody acted in love, everybody's going to have emotions. You're going to get irritated, but it's not going to be to the extreme. You're not going to see the extremes of things. You're not going to see hate and all this stuff. I think once it's lifted, and it will lift, there might always be some stragglers here, so don't get too excited. But the majority of it, I think, will lift. And people as a whole will be more aware of their connection to each other and to God. It's a time when love and creation are void of or have less fear. And so we will be able to more easily conscious create or more aware of our creation and our connection to each other. So it's not going to all be heaven in a day, because this is something we're going to have to aspire to. We're going to have to, it's going to be transition. Okay. We'll have to evolve, but soon we'll be free to do so without that immense blanket of fear over us, the constant bombardment. Everywhere we turn, we have let it go so far this time, and that's why we're having this escalation. They've let the vibration of the planet fall so low, they're trying to let in the big bad guy. Okay? I'm not going to call anything by name. They're trying. You know how you got those crazies that go out in the forest and, on the full moon or whatever, and they summon some demon and it runs around town, eats chickens and your cat, and, somebody saw it or whatever, and then it's gone and they can't find it forever. Well, like a werewolf. Those things exist in other dimensions in solid form. They just let it in. Well, they're trying. They can only do that when they gather together with that paired intent and that low vibrational energy during certain circumstances. But that bad guy cannot remain here because the actual vibration of this dimension is higher. So it gets sucked back in. Okay? What they want to do is make everyone so miserable and so hateful and so just like them that they can let in the big bad guy, and then it's over. Then they've taken over the entire dimension. So that's what they want to do. We're breaking a cycle right now. We're breaking a cycle. We are going to learn, and we're learning what we're truly capable of as creators and pieces of the body of God. That's not a fairy tale. It's reality. We've just been so numbed by those that want us to feel insignificant and stop the creation process, the conscious together creation process, that we've forgotten who we really are. So how do we cope right now? Okay. Starts with you individually. It incorporates a lot of old concepts that are in the Bible. There's a lot of truth in the Bible. There's a lot of bad stuff in the Bible that they've manipulated words here and there just to make you feel bad and separate and all these things. They got a hold of that. But the truth is still in there. Jesus says this truth is still in there. And a lot of the things that he told us was like to turn the other cheek, to love your neighbor, things like that. And a lot of people think, oh, God, that's just us laying down and letting them walk all over us. No, it's not. That's how it's been interpreted. That is not. What it is it's standing up and saying, no, I reject all evil. It's the parent with the gun standing between the predator, the bear, and the children, and shooting the bear. That's righteous anger. That is protection. That is protecting those, the innocent, and those you love, and saying, you will not take my children. And that's where we're going. You will not take my children. And whether we're talking about the terrible things that have happened to children or what they want to do to children, whether we're standing here right now and nobody knows about that, it is about your children. And everybody needs to stand up right now and say, you will not take my children. And whatever, of course, it doesn't have to be like everybody goes crazy and runs around and starts hurting people. That's gives them reason to retaliate. That's not how you do it. That's not how you do it. And I'll get to the how you do it in a minute. But recently I found out, somebody told me there was somebody that didn't want to do a show with me because she was Christian. And, I'm psychic. And I'm thinking, well, prophets wrote the Bible. But, don't, that's okay. Don't get me started on that. Whatever, whatever. But that's an opportunity. I could react to that. I could let ego go and give in to all the fears of that, Or I could just say, okay, that's your choice. Nothing divine is forced. I know what I do, and I know my intentions are true, and I love Jesus. I've seen him. We're great friends, It's just ignorance. And they're all understanding a person's, taking a step back, not reacting, understanding a person's point of view and the fears that they're reacting to is growth. And so I don't have to carry that with me. I don't have to let that demon in the door to mess with me. I can let that go. And that's one way that you starve the enemy. The way we win this war is to starve the enemy in many different ways. It's not by feeding it. God's never left us alone. He sends us teachers and books, the Bible, all along the way. Fear has infiltrated it all to stop the truth. And the truth is that love is all there is. The rest is illusion. Because they cannot create. Only human beings can create. The bad guys have to use human beings to create. So pray for those who have been used, that they find their way. But nothing divine is forced. That's one of the first things I learned in meditation from the angels. Nothing divine is forced. And I believe nothing is forced on the divine. Why else would they need your permission? Even though they get it in a shady way. You consciously have no idea. They feel if they tell you something and you still do it, you've accepted. So with the people in your life that you're trying to help with this situation, that you're trying to inform, you could try. But if they resist and it's rejected and they fight you, you have to let it go. Tell them, okay, I love you and I understand that you feel differently, but the door is open. If you should find something out, I'll be here. And let it go. Because, the only thing that you're doing with continuing to harp on somebody is you're creating more division within your family. You're creating more pain and more fear. We're all on the same road right now. We're all on the same road. And those people will get there. Some may squat in the side road and say, I'm not doing it. That's fine. They can do that. But the majority of people will get there. Just because you're further down the road than they are. Don't judge them. It's like a senior telling a freshman they're stupid, when the senior has been a freshman. So part of being awake, waking up, the awakening, is that understanding, is that you have to let them get there on their own. So I go down to Boise, all right, to see Brett's parents, his mother and his stepfather. His mother's always very open to things, talking about things, but I don't throw too much on her. The new stepfather, however, I simply mentioned that maybe things with the whole jab stuff might not be all that he thinks it is. And this man folded his arms and stared me down and to tell me, well, the government would never do anything to hurt us. I'm like, this guy, is he not that smart? I mean, does he I was just shocked. I was like, really? Everything I brought up, everything. He's so brainwashed. And this is a man. I asked him what he did before he was retired. And they're like 80. So this is a man who worked doing or paying in the office for companies that cleaned up the radiation from the landfill or the dirt that they used, construction people, private citizens put in their yards from the atomic bomb testing or making of it or whatever. People would go and get and contractors would get this dirt and they would fill in the construction sites and build homes. And the government would privately contact them and say, hey, we flew over with a plane. Your entire house and everything has got radiation. And they'd cut them a check. And they'd dig down, I don't know how many stories, and replace all the dirt and take the entire house and all their belongings and everything else and replace it. Tell them to. And I was looking at this guy and he's like, oh yeah, the government had no idea that it was radioactive. Yes, they did. They just got caught. And then they had to clean it up. And they had this guy so brainwashed. So anyway, I was there, and every time I would say anything after that, this guy'd fold his arms and stare me down. It's probably not very smart. Anyway, and I'm thinking, dude, I could just mop you up right now, but I'm not going to do it. Okay, that's the old Jen. I'm not doing that. I was just like, nothing I can say can sway this guy. There's no way he's going to let go of the brainwashing. There's no way he's going to snap out of it. He may be one of the few that never do. And I just kind of learned right there. The mother's looking at me like, really? Yeah, wow. Oh my God. And I didn't want to say too much about the couple things that they just took in the arm, because I didn't want to scare the crap out of him and give him like a heart attack or something. So I was just like, well, yeah, maybe it's not that. Maybe shouldn't take another one. Maybe shouldn't get another one. So brainwashed, there's just no way. And I was just, if I would have kept on, it would have ruined the entire trip. There's no point in it anyway. So understanding that, taking a step back, I basically, I just basically let it go. And I'm like, well, if you ever want to know any more about it, just, I'm here. Just here for any questions that you have. And he's like, And he just thinks he thinks I'm just crazy. He thinks I'm a lunatic. Whatever. Um so don't get too wrapped up in this. I know you're trying to save your loved ones. I know you're trying to do all that stuff, but they have free will. And we do not interfere with free will. Um I knew at that point that I've grown, you know. So we all need to, if you're telling everybody you're awake, you need to be evolved too. Now, this doesn't mean that we just lay down and be nice people and do nothing. It doesn't mean that. Because there is such a thing as righteous anger, like I told you, with the parent and the child and the bear. That's where we're going. That's where we're going. Yeah. Somebody in chat, can I have his number? I would love to give you his number, but I'm more involved than that right now. I'm not going to do that. So, where is God and where is the sustenance that we all crave? Because all of our lives we have been searching to fill something, and we don't know what it is. Do you know why? Because we come from a place where we are very aware of other different dimensions, however close you get to the source, very aware of that connection and that ability to consciously create, and that life doesn't have to be this hard. It's a constant annoyance with these lies and this manipulation and this control. And we're all searching for what we miss, and is that we can just openly be free and love and be loved and not have this hanging over us anymore. They put conditions on everything. They put classifications to everything, all in the name of separation. You know, this is beautiful now and that's not. So like, well, I thought this was beautiful and this is how I look now. I gotta change. I gotta change now. So I can be accepted. You know? And we've been so conditioned to believe that we must fit in order to be happy, that will go along with these things. God is not out there somewhere. He's everywhere. So where is he? Where is the sustenance we crave? It's inside you right now. It was never gone. And it was never somewhere that we could possibly, maybe we can obtain it. That's the biggest lie. You know what? Maybe if you're good enough, you'll get in. And maybe if you'll be loved. And maybe God will know you. What? We stood up as warriors, every single one of you, and said, yeah, I'll go there. I will go and be a part of not allowing evil to take over this dimension. And if I've got a big job or a little job, or I'm just part of the effort, I will go. And I will go over and over and over again until they are cast out of there. And that's what we're doing. So this is not a new war. This is not a new war. It wasn't that we just came to fight this war right now. It's just this is the climax. You know? That God and that love and that creation and that power and that infinity is within you right now. And it's when we are finally brave enough to trust that we find the freedom from fear. And that's the hard part. That's the hard part. And I've experienced that in my life. It was like in the darkest moments where you just are forced to trust that you are not alone and that it is going to be okay and that you're going to make it through it or they are going to make it through it. God be with me. God help me. Throw your arms down. I'm all in. That's where we are. You need to do that. I'm all in. Let's do it. You may not see the results of trusting right away. It may not be an instant thing. And it's in the waiting that it becomes the hardest. And we're all experiencing that now. But when you do, you will be changed. When you see that I trusted and he came through for me, you will be changed. You will trust again. And every time is a struggle. But you will be changed for the better. And we all will be changed for the better from these struggles. Yes, we will have to rise up against fear and tyranny. But within the battle, we cannot become the enemy. Okay? And what I mean by that is there's a big difference between anger and righteous anger. Like Jesus, I don't remember hearing Jesus arguing with the devil when the devil was tempting him. He just said no. And the devil had no power. You can argue, go round and round with the devil, but all you really need to do is say no. So if we come together like we're supposed to be and say no, if we all just actually realize that we are all brothers and sisters, there are those within there who chose their side. Okay. But that is nowhere near the majority. You know, you might go about your day, go to the gas station, there's all a bunch of jerks around. You're like, God, that guy's a jerk, and this guy's a jerk, and that person cut me off, and blah, 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 blah. But if you go home with them, they love their people. And a lot of people just are irritated because they've been taught to be irritated by everybody. Stay away from everybody. Everybody's bad, scary, and mean, dirty. If we all came together and said no, if we came together arm in arm in loving embrace, whether it's in a line, whether it's in a protest, whether it's together starving the enemy of their money or their business or their power, if we came together and really loved each other, I mean, can you imagine, let's say like 1,000 people in a field arm in arm? That is contagious. We lead by example. And I'm not saying everybody run out in the field, throw flowers in your hair, and, smoke pot, and everybody's all happy and blah, blah, blah. That didn't work. All right, they already tried that. Didn't work. So what it is that whether we have to, people have to raise on. I'm not calling anybody to action here. Don't get all freaked out on me and report me or anything. But what I'm saying is, when the time comes, and wherever you are, if we, as freedom-loving, God-loving people, brothers and sisters, came together and loved one another, that is powerful. Because we would be one voice, one movement, and one hand of God. And what if we stand up and say no, we starve the enemy. If we stand up and say no, they have no power over us. And those that watch us do it. Wow, look at them. I want to be part of the club. I want to be as happy as they are. I want to be loved. I don't like my team. You know, maybe they know something. Maybe they know a secret. Right? That's how we win. In many different ways. But that's how we win. And then when the smoke clears and victory is declared, we will truly see each other as brothers and sisters. We will have gone through something together and banded together in it. And when they cast out the majority evil from here, we don't have this constant bombardment telling us that we're wrong or bad or need to stay separated and all those things. How much better would the world be? Or will the world be? So it doesn't mean we all lay down and let everything happen and let's just be kind. That's not very nice. We better not do anything. We better not run out and gather and do all that stuff. That's not how you protect your children. And some people will have opportunity to fight. Some people will fight from home. But as a whole, we all need to band together and be a force to be reckoned with. Because if we don't, they win. You know, if we did all, after this is over, realize that we're all brothers, sisters, joy will reign supreme. And wouldn't that be nice? So banding together is not coming against those that don't believe what we're saying or haven't seen it yet. We really do need to lead by example and be the happy ones. We need to be the confident ones. We need to be the strong ones. We need to be solid in our decisions and saying no. Even if it hurts. Even if it hurts. And there's a lot of us that are like, oh my God, I can't change my life in any way. I've worked for all this stuff. And I can't, we're not going to go to, I'm not saying go to jail. They're not going to send everybody to jail for not getting this thing. Okay, it's not going to go that far. The problem is that if we need to start standing up now and saying no, like I just heard, what was it, Nigeria or something. Oh, in a couple of weeks, you're not going to be able to do any banking if you don't get it. Really? What bank is this? Because I have 5 different banks personally that I do business with. I'll just take all my damn money out of them. How's that? How's that? And then if enough people do that, they're going to be like, well, maybe that wasn't a good idea. Because we don't have everybody's money now. And we don't have control over the people because we don't have everybody's money now. And we're already seeing this happen. So we just need to keep doing it. But take a look at it at a spiritual level. They have convinced us to believe in an invisible enemy. So we won't believe in our invisible hero. And that's love. And that's God. And that's our family. We're the invisible hero. God is the invisible hero together with us. And that's the truth. It's funny because they've taken some of these, bad guys. I don't think it was a comment. I think I heard Hunter Biden say or something. It was like, they want me to believe in a fictional character. What? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. If we really go over it, everything you see, everything you feel, everything you touch, everything is housed within the body of God. The light, something I'm going to teach someday, I call it the seventh element. It is the element that houses all others. It is the element of creation. Everything, all the other elements, everything they study, everything that makes anything is in there and is comprised of it. That is why the dark side needs to use human beings to do their bidding. We all have free will. They can decide to do it or not. That is why they want to create AI. They want to create robots because human beings are hard to control. They can't create them. So it's like, for me, it's just, I didn't always see this, but for me, it's all right there. I mean, it's right in front of your face so much, but when something's in front of your face so much, you get so used to it. You don't see the miracle anymore. Like when your kid's born. I mean, when my kids were born, I would just take video after video of them just like sleeping. I was just so in awe with them and amazed, and then they get about 10, 12 years old. You're like, it's like, you kind of like forget what a miracle they are, and not for a moment, then grandma takes them and then you're back. Takes them for the weekend. Anyway, those are my thoughts for today. And everybody's like, well, how are we supposed to get everybody to do this? They will. Because when you're backed in a corner, you're faced with a decision. Do you come out swinging? Or do you lay down and die? I've been backed in a corner before. And I thought I was a total wimp, right? I came out swinging. Totally surprised myself. But I came out swinging. And I was changed. And the things that I've been through in my life have changed me. And the things that we're going to go through, the atrocities that we're going to, or some of us know about, people will come out swinging. And if not for themselves, for their children. And when they see other people swinging, they'll say, yeah, we're on the same team. And then we're together. We're a team. So I see this happening. But I do see people struggling, and I struggled personally with, my mom. Yeah. Oh, that hurt. Hurt. It was hard. My mom's like, I'm going to go get the third one. Would you like to go to lunch? I'm like, yeah, I'd like to see you before you die. Like, oh my God. And she'll probably be fine. She's a very hardy woman. She's never really had any problems at all. But it was hard. I went to lunch and I'm like, oh my God. Mom, can you just like wait? I mean, Do you really need 3 within 6 months? Have you ever had to do that before? I mean, maybe you should have you do you even know what's in it? I mean, maybe you should do a little research. Why don't you just wait till like Christmas? Because I'm pretty sure it's all gonna fall apart by Christmas with the whole mandates and all that. I would just wait till like around December and then get it. You can get it then. And she was like, she got mad because my stepfather's, oh my God, an atheist. Anyway, that's why we butt heads. But he's got like this jab party going on. Like, oh, we'll all with the neighbors and our friends, we'll all go down and get together, and then we'll go to lunch and we'll all get wasted because he's an alcoholic. And my mom's like, well, then I have to then I'd have to stand up and tell everybody that I can't go, and then why I'm doing it, and then they'll all come down on me. I'll probably be fine. She goes, you know what? And she gets mad at me, and she's like, sweetest woman ever. Okay, I love my mother. This woman stands in the sun. She just like shines. I mean, she's like a shining light, just like glows. She's so divine, and I'm just like, I have to save you. I have to save you. And she says, you know what? Nothing you ever say comes true anyway. And I'm like, well, I told you it was exactly going to happen when you had your hysterectomy. What was going on in your body, how many days it was going to take, and what they were going to do, and when you'd be home. But that's okay. Anyway, that's fine. As long as you're mad, go ahead and come at me and, tell me about how my whole life is a sham. Anyway, but that, and then there's the growth. There's the growth. That hurt because it was my mother. She knows damn well those people are asking me questions all the time. Anytime anybody gets sick or I think, oh, Jenny, can you do anything to help? Can you, what do you think is going to happen? It's like, oh, but now nothing I ever say comes true. Whatever. But, growth, pull back from that. And, yeah, she threw that arrow right at me, and I was like, oh, can't believe that. That was hard. And then the next day, she's supposed to go and get it. And so all night long, she's thinking about it, though. And she's texting me, and she's telling me, well, I looked at the pamphlet, and I don't have any conditions that I shouldn't have any problems with it. I'm like, well, get 6 of them then. That makes sense. Let's do that. They won't, I said, okay, fine. She's been up there. They've got this log cabin on the top of a mountain. Looks like a lodge. All right. They're well off. She's been up there with my atheist stepfather and all those alcoholic jerks for like 2 years since this whole thing started. And she's been infiltrated. All I can do is pray for her. All I can do. But I know God is the voice in her head. I know it. And so I had to take a step back. I could have fought with her and tell my mother I'm never going to talk to her again and do all that. But that would have killed her. That would have killed her. It's not worth it. I just have to have faith. I have to pray for her and her safety. Of course, I've been doing healings, trying to remove all the bad stuff from the vaccines on her. I can be sneaky. But I just got to take a step back, and you guys do too. It's not worth breaking up your family because this will all be over at one point in time, and then you're going to have to go back and make amends. You're going to go back, and was it worth losing your family? No. So I tried. I tried to inform her. It was rejected. Seriously. And I told her, listen, if you want to know anything else, I'll tell you. But at this point, she has her own free will. And that's what we all have to do. There is a reason everybody's asking you to pray. And I saw that from the very beginning, from the posts. You know what I'm talking about. But that's interesting. Because praying, in the schools and everywhere else has been so rejected for so long. You know, why are they doing it now? And I was like, what's going on? I'm like, they know something. They know what we're fighting. And so, yeah, part of it might be going out in the streets. Part of it might be fighting off attackers. Part of it might be things like that. But the majority of it is standing up and saying no, banding together as the hand of God and saying, this is our world. And these are our children. And you can't have them. Poof, no more power. No more power. One of the strongest things that you can do personally when you feel like that little voice telling you that you should be fearful and that you should be, oh my God, everything's going to go to crap, and, panic, fear, run around and scream. I cast you out in the name of Jesus. I've done that in a dream before, and it was the coolest thing. It's funny because I'm so used to this stuff. I've been doing this for so long. Even in my dreams, I do that. But, I learned a long time. It's always been there. But my life has been so significantly helped or changed or improved simply from faith. You need to nourish and grow that conversation. No matter what your religion is, listen, man created religions. God created you. You are his child, and he will never leave you unless you tell him to go. Okay? And if you ever say, well, you know what, I didn't really mean to tell you to go. I was stupid and wrong, and I'd really like you back. Boom. Back. All right? Religions are a set of rules so that people would help. A lot of them have been used to control. There are many, many lovely and beautiful religions at the core. Some of them have been infiltrated, which is disappointing. But what you really need to nourish is that personal connection, that conversation in your head with your creator and with God. And that will guide your way. Okay? And then if we would start to look at everyone, not every little fault, not what they're wearing, not what they do for a living. Look at their intent, look at their actions, and try to see everybody as your sister or your brother and see how your perception changes. So we're going to see a lot of stuff going on, and I don't want everybody to panic because a lot of it is a last-ditch effort to scare the crap out of you and get you to stay home and shut up. And we're not going to shut up, and we're probably not going to stay home. We will come to a time where there are uprisings, but for the most of it, if it's not happening in your area, be prepared. And also, there are things that you can do. If you see that everybody has joined together, because a business is oppressing their employees and firing them, anybody who's going against our constitutional rights needs to pay for it. We need to stand up against it because that's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, do we have no constitution anymore? Has anybody taken a look around? This is America, and we're keeping it. And they can't have our children. So you guys all stay strong. rise above it. And it's time to call in our invisible hero. All right. Let me see if there's anybody have any questions before I go. You guys are funny. God. Look at your comments. All right. I love you guys. It's funny. Anyway. Also, I have a couple announcements. There was a little glitch going on with PayPal, and I fixed that. They wanted me to give them access to my entire life and my firstborn child. So I had to do that so that I could get the money people already sent me. Weird. Anyway, so I just did it. Who cares? I do have up the yearly forecast. If you're listening, the date is 9/8/2021. I don't know how long I'm going to leave it up. It's something I offer periodically. I usually do it around the first of the year. I felt like we need to do it now. So this is an hour reading, and I go over each season or quadrants over the next year and tell you what I see coming for you personally in your life, in your business, in your love life, whatever. Any questions that you have, we'll go over. So it's a year ahead, to look ahead. That is available on jenniferfallaw.com. Where's my banner? Somebody do this for me. I always do everything myself. Bink, there we go. Go to jenniferfallaw.com. I do have that reading available. We are going to start the psychic development classes soon. I have to get with my wonderful friend, Mike Barra, and figure out when we want to do that. If you can email me on the website if you have any questions about the interdimensional meditation classes I just took down. Also, listen to Beacon of Light Radio, a guiding light on the shore of life. So let me tell you about my radio station. Beacon of Light Radio I've had for years. It's got many, many hosts. We do shows on out there stuff because we can, and we don't really have any commercials unless it's an old show, because I don't like commercials and I don't have to. So basically it's running 24/7. You go to beaconoflightradio.com. It's on SoundCloud. And it's a radio station. It's running. We do the replays when there's not a live show, but we've got shows on Bigfoot, aliens, conspiracy theories, psychics, all kinds of neat stuff. Paranormal, mysteries of the world, whatever you can think of. We talk about it. Astrology. Also, please like and my channel here. I always forget about that. I'm going to start doing more philosophy shows because my husband's going to start working out of town, and anybody wants to come and stalk me, I am heavily armed. I would not do that. We don't have break-ins in Idaho, and there's a reason for that. But he's going to be out of town 4 days a week, and so I'm going to have a lot more time. And I'm going to start doing this show a lot more often. So if you have any show ideas, you can go to jenniferfallaw.com and send them to me via email form on the first page. All right. So I want to thank everybody for being here with me today. And until next time, believe in infinite possibilities.